but the grand final is full of Swedes. NiP versus Red Reserve is coming up at 8 p.m, so definitely don't miss that. First, let me talk a little bit about the Strafe esports app. You can get this on iOS or Android, and it's a place where you can keep up with everything esports, everything Counter-Strike. If you've got favorite teams, favorite players that you want to catch up on, see when they're playing next, if you're out and about and you want to see how their match is going, you can check it all on your mobile phone. So go to your app store and check that out. Join us back here at 8 p.m. for the grand final. It's one not to miss. It's going to be amazing.
Grab your gear and let's go.
Is just ripping them apart, sneaking in. They're not paying attention right now. Come on, they're gonna reload. So smart from Blade. He gets on the bomb. Flash comes out. He's gonna slide out though. Find it again. There he swings over to the pistol for a second. He's looking for a third and all.
What up, guys? This is Jordan Gilbert.
We work with the world's top pros to teach you how to take your game to the next level with constantly updated training content. When you're done watching and want to train or warm up, just a few clicks will put you in your preferred training mods like Deathmatch. But why warm up for a match on Mirage by getting shot in the back on Dust 2? That's why we built Duels, real fights and real maps. 1 minute in Duels is like 20 rounds of real CS. Exclusively available on Boomio.com.
Athletes aren't just born. They're molded from the core. A core of strength. A core of laser focus. A core that can handle anything. A core that sweats the small stuff. A core that's the difference maker. Game changer, world shocker. You see, hard work makes the athlete. But the edge of a Core i7 processor makes you unstoppable.
Gaming doesn't have to be like this. Are those tears? You need a machine that can keep up with you. The new Omen X. All those hours of training are about to pay off. Don't rage quit. Get the Omen X. Dominate the game.
Non siamo selvaggi. Scimmie combattono per sopravvivere. Nessuna pietà. Niente pace. Questa è guerra.
Tuning out of starlight, the innocent lifetime flickers and flashes under a canvas. No, nobody seems worth it, while the feeling's sophisticated. The view is so restrained. The past is nearing closer and closer, I fear. So let's just cut the bullshit and tell me who's independent. Thumbs a little in and your life's escaping your mind. Keep in mind, well, the air ain't as free as it used to be, but that's quite alright when you're still 18, it seems to be. And I'll tell you who's overrated. What's a beautiful person with some hideous dreams? Well, the lining is in silver. We're verging on the side of the road that'll take us home. Us getting weighed. Read about your life in your local papers. Realize the end of us getting near. You're just a droplet of paint trickled off your canvas. Delirious illusions flowing backwards through the river of color while we analyze to try to see it clearer. Secretly appealing to a lonely prisoner. Now what's your vision? Initiate your shade and blend the universe together. In time it only gets a little easier. Suddenly piece yourself back together now. What's your vision?
Qual è il programma?
La guerra. I tempi stanno cambiando. Vogliamo che tu li combatta per mostrare loro chi siamo.
Oh Lord, my Lord and Savior, please deliver me.
Non siamo selvaggi, scimmie, combattono per sopravvivere. Nessuna pietà, niente pace. Questa è guerra.
The War, il pianeta delle scimmie, al cinema.
Anni fa ho fatto un lavoro dove ho messo 10 impianti e ho speso allora in lire 40 milioni. Nell'arco di 2 anni io ho perso di questi 10 7 impianti, ma lungi da me andare a guardare un dentista italiano.
In Italia ho fatto un lavoro di 4 impianti, no? Spendendo circa 8.000 euro. Mentre in Croazia ho fatto un lavoro di 6 impianti e spendendo circa 6.500 euro.
Sono venuto giù appunto per problemi di prezzo in questo caso, no? Poi ho provato in Italia, mi pelavano, allora a me a Varese mi avevano chiesto 13.000 euro, no? A Zagabria me ne avevano chiesti 5.000 e qualche cosa.
Se rifaccio la bocca, allora c'ho speranza di trovare il fidanzato?
Sì, perché io glielo auguro. Perché se lei mi fa quella domanda è perché vuole proprio andare a visitare sotto braccio con qualcuno la piazza di Zagabria, che ne so.
3 volte a settimana andiamo a Milano, quindi facciamo sosta da Milano in tutte le città più grandi, Verona, Padova, Vicenza, Venezia, Treviso, Trieste, e arrivano diretti a Zagabria. Il risparmio per i pazienti italiani parte dal 65%, per certe cose arriva fino anche all'85%.
Vengo dalla Sardegna e in Italia mi costava 3 volte tanto di qua, quindi mi sono convinto di affrontare il viaggio e di venire in questa clinica. Molti amici lì mi hanno detto che i materiali non erano a norma, che erano cinesi qua.
Non è vero che i nostri materiali vengono da Cina, i nostri materiali sono tutti tedeschi o svizzeri.
Con tanto di certificato. Sì. Sono rimasto 10 giorni e adesso mi hanno messo i denti, sono contentissimo.
I prezzi inferiori in Croazia sono dovuti al basso costo del lavoro, abbiamo i salari, stipendi ovviamente molto più bassi di quelli in Italia, il nostro sistema burocratico è diverso, abbiamo tasse inferiori e questo ovviamente si vede sui prezzi, è quello che li abbassa.
What's up, guys? I'm Stunna. We're at DreamHack ASTRO Open in Valencia, Spain. It's been a pretty cool event, and by cool, I mean it's hot as outside. So, without any further ado, let's take a look inside. Okay, so our first stop of the day is going to be right here in the BYOC hall, and I actually noticed something as we were walking through here. The Meet, Play, Fun Zone. An interesting concept, forcing what I would say the native nerd in their natural habitat to come outside and actually converse and get to know one each other away from the keyboard or their favorite text messaging app. What's up, guys? High five. There we go. Boom. You can see we've got quite a bit of people lounging in beanbags. I'm actually pretty jealous because the air conditioner is working quite properly in this part of the venue. Is it comfortable? It's good? You don't speak English? Can I sit here? Not bad. Let's try to mingle with the gamers, if you will. These are my people. These are your people. So we should get along just fine. We should blend in. High five. High five. Hey. Would you look at that? That's actually insane. This is by far the first time I've ever seen the Death Star converted into a tower. I would say that this isn't quite full-size Death Star, maybe mid-tower, if you will. We're going to head over now to the other side of the venue where we do have a lot of vendor booths. We have going on for the DreamHack tournaments. Why we wait? As you can see here at DreamHack, we don't take video gaming lightly, nor do we take our Game of Thrones very lightly. I don't think I'm the king of the North, but I am from Alabama, so I think that would make me the king of the South, you know? See, the big thing about DreamHack Valencia is this is my second time here. Yeah, it's hot as hell outside, but this is 100% a good time here. These people are having a good time. They look forward to it all year. And actually, I'm really impressed by the Spanish gaming community. They really rally around this thing. DreamHack Valencia wouldn't be a DreamHack if we didn't have some cool tournaments going on with it, right? So, let's head in and check out some of these tournament areas now. Over here on the right, we've got the Smite tournament. I think it's the grand finals of some sort. I don't know anything about Smite. So here we've got a little bit of Hearthstone Grand Prix. Another game I know little to nothing about, but I'm sure that... All right, so right now we're at the front of the house where we got Red Reserve and Energy trying to stay alive. They're fighting for their life in the tournament right now. This is a best of 3. I believe we're on map 1. Which way do you guys think this will go? Oh, who's there? I'm kidding. There's no knock-knock job. All right, we're backstage now. I don't think I need this. They might know me around these parts. Either way, right here, we've got player practice areas. Teams come in here and practice right before they get their match underway. Unless, of course, the game before them goes into a third map and a overtime or 3, in which case they probably get tired of that and move along. Let's move along, too. All right, right here on the right side, we've got the mod team. Wait, I said mod team, and look what happens. It's kind of weird how that happens, right? All right, now we come through here. We can't be too loud. These guys are trying to get their job done. Either way, we'll take a look at this side of things. I think this is where audio and a lot of the replay techs are sitting. If you look at them hard at work. Yes, indeed. Then if we transition over to the other side, we've got our director, producer. We got this guy. I don't know what he's doing, but he's here. Coming in hot, boys. Coming in hot. Hide everything. Here, you can find our analyst crew and host. Really trying to nail down some nice analytics for you guys at home in this upcoming breakdown they're going to have to do. Pure plexiglass. Peek out of the front side of the stage. All right, guys, that does it for our tour of DreamHack ASTRO Open Valencia. My name's Stunna. I've been with you guys all week, and, well, I hope to see you guys again. With that being said, one of these teams is taking that trophy home. I can't wait to find out who it's going to be. Stay tuned for more of the game.
Siamo selvaggi, scimmie, combattono per sopravvivere. Nessuna pietà, niente pace. Questa è guerra.
The War, il pianeta delle scimmie, al cinema.
Qual è il programma?
La guerra. I tempi stanno cambiando. Vogliamo che tu li combatta per mostrare loro chi siamo.
Oh Lord, my Lord and Savior, please deliver me.
Scimmie, insieme, forti.
Sei eccezionale. The World, il pianeta delle scimmie, al cinema.
L'efficacia del trattamento con azoto liquido inizia sempre da un'accurata ispezione. I nostri operatori, qualificati per riconoscere la presenza delle cimici, il loro passaggio e le loro uova, valuteranno attentamente tutta l'area da sanificare. La cimice tende a nascondersi in tutti gli anfratti della camera per poi uscire la notte per nutrirsi del nostro sangue e per questo motivo è fondamentale un'attenta analisi sia degli arredi come letti, poltrone, specchi, quadri che della struttura stessa della camera come battiscopa, mensole, profili delle porte, eccetera. A differenza dei metodi classici utilizzati dalla maggioranza delle aziende in questo settore come pesticidi o gas, l'azoto liquido è l'unico prodotto veramente efficace per eliminare non solo la cimice adulta, ma anche le uova. La cimice ha infatti la copertura dell'esoscheletro di un materiale ceroso al quale non aderisce il pesticida, che è solitamente a base d'acqua. In stato gassoso, l'azoto liquido raggiunge temperature fino a 150 gradi sotto lo zero, provocando un'ustione criogenica alla quale non sopravvive nessun tipo di parassita, cristallizzando e bruciando di fatto tutte le molecole che si possono trovare sulle superfici degli arredi. I nostri operatori faranno un lavoro accurato, assicurandosi che vengano trattate le zone della camera, smontando anche le doghe del letto, aprendo le prese della corrente e tutti quei punti dove possono nascondersi le cimici. Inoltre, l'azoto è un prodotto assolutamente naturale. Non lascia nessuna forma di residuo nella stanza ed essendo privo di umidità non danneggia nessun tipo di materiale o tessuto. Queste sue caratteristiche ci permettono di utilizzarlo anche all'interno di armadi, per sanificare vestiti e su qualunque suppellettile, anche pregiata. Oltre che ai risultati certi di questo tipo di sanificazione, l'utilizzo dell'azoto garantisce il rispetto dell'ambiente e permette l'impiego in qualunque tipo di struttura, come alberghi, ospedali, case di riposo, evitando così quei disagi provocati dalla chiusura per molti giorni di una camera. La disinfestazione con azoto, infatti, dura solamente poche ore e l'area trattata è subito abitabile. Potete trovare altre informazioni su www.ecodisinfestazione.it.
4 times in the finals, 3 defeats. They might just pick up the win.
Masters. What defines a master? Is it an unparalleled game sense? Is it the perfect aim? Or is it an iron will to succeed?
Brilliant play from Fallen. Limited vision, limited weapons. Doesn't even matter to play. Oh, the 4th as well. Taco gets him down. No chance for pass. And a strike. Nice shot. Stacks up close. And a straight flash high in the sky. They won't be able to dodge. Means he can go back for more. And he certainly will. Find the second and a third. Stacks on fire. What a shot.
How much has ASTRO got to bring in these round? Rain could be the one to do it all. Well, it's fast pace. There's the headshot. Oh, it's second.
Sprays them all down.
Dennis is spamming through the bench, leaving Coldzera in a 1-on-4. There's the first. Looking for a second, he connects it. Oh, and he gets a third as well! Coldzera! The man, the myth, the beast!
DreamHack Astro Open is brought to you by ASTRO, Monster Energy, Corsair, Zowie, and Intel.
Welcome back to Valencia, Spain. 3 days ago, we were joined here by 8 teams, but only 2 remain. And both of those teams are Swedish. We are going through now into the grand final where both of these teams will be fighting for that trophy. Right there, it is the DreamHack ASTRO Open trophy. My name is James Duffield and welcome to the analysis desk. First off, I want to thank all of our sponsors. ASTRO, Monster Energy, Zowie, Corsair and Intel. Thank you all for making this whole weekend possible. I am joined here as always by Vendetta and Jacob. How are you guys doing?
Very well. Excited to see us all Swedish.
Start really at the very start of the tournament. KPI playing Envious really surprised us, right, Jacob?
Yeah, like we walked into the tournament, barely knew who KPI were. Like Spanish team qualified. Like some of the names we knew from the past from both of us played the Counter-Strike Source, but it's not a team that makes any noise at all in the international scene as of right now. So it's very surprising to see that they could play up against Envious and eventually beat them. And also tells quite a story about Envious, which like leads into their tournament with like this poor start and them not like showing up in the first game as usual.
Yeah, and we can see actually the groups as well as we talk through all of this. That was obviously in Group A. We can see that 16-14 KPI win, which was very unexpected. And we saw Heroic. Let's talk a little bit about Heroic, who had quite a smooth sailing through the group stages, have not made it to this grand final. What happened there?
I mean, it's hard to tell, right? They were looking so solid throughout the group stages, qualifies directly on day 1 to semis, and then obviously run into a bit of a rough.
Yeah, how are you feeling about Heroic coming, like now that we've seen this kind of, them go out of the tournament, Jacob?
Yeah, it's a huge disappointment, obviously both for the players, but also for us fans, I believe. Like Heroic were one of the teams that you would expect to be in a final against NiP at this tournament, but as you said, like Red Reserve really gave them a great fight and eventually ended up winning the game. And again, as you said, like it was not like I felt Heroic played necessarily bad, it was just like they were not hitting their top level, and while that happened, Red Reserve were playing so well, you know, that they eventually could win the game. So it must be like a empty feeling for Heroic, because as you said, they played so well in the group stages, and like served through the first day, and then ended up losing in a semi-final against a red reserve team that you, prior to this tournament, wouldn't expect that much of.
Yeah. The two teams we're going to look at very soon in the grand final both came through in Group B. Let's have a quick look at how that went down over the last couple of days. It was half and half Americans, half Swedish. We saw NiP sail through the upper bracket, and then
Then it happened.
Then it happened.
The moment.
In the decider match, in the best of three, Red Reserve went through when everyone in the world thought that CLG were going to go through. What happened? Sum up what happened with CLG there.
I mean, it's just one of the weirdest, if not the weirdest thing I've experienced in Counter-Strike. Obviously, it's 15-12 in favor of CLG. They've just clutched out a retake situation. 3 men alive, 1 man with a kit, another man with the actual defuse. And ends up not quite panning out. Last second defuse doesn't go through. And obviously, you could talk to no end about what they should have done, that they should have communicated that somebody had a kit and so on. But because of that, it's a lifeline is given to Red Reserve, and they take full advantage. It goes into an absolutely crazy 4-time, quadruple overtime. So they nearly play Mirage twice over before we actually see the Swedes come through.
How do you feel for CLG? Like, I felt so sad for them at the end of the day.
Me too. Like, it must be heartbreaking. You know, as a player, I can only imagine how they must feel being in that situation. Other way around, I really love the story, because like Red Reserve are now in the final, and they essentially were out of the tournament like in that moment, and now they're in the final. So as sorry as I feel for CLG, I find it more fun now that Red Reserve are in the final.
Yeah, you do have that nice rivalry, as we'll talk about in a minute, between the Swedes. But also, there's some of these teams, right, are going to be with us next weekend at DreamHack ASTRO Open Atlanta. So they kind of have a chance to get revenge over each other, correct?
Yeah, I mean, Envy, again, positive trajectory as the tournament went along. It's going to be interesting to see if they start where they left off when they come to Atlanta, or if they go back to, same old. And for Heroic, whether or not, they managed to hit that extra top, that extra level that they needed to take them through to a grand final this time around. And again, CLG, how they're potentially going to bounce back, right?
Yeah.
So there's a ton of storylines going into DreamHack Atlanta as well, but for me, I'm more excited to see actually Envy, because they left on a high note, so I want to see them continue that way when we get to Georgia.
Has there been any standout players for you, Jacob, over the last 3 days that have impressed? Who maybe it's the first time we're seeing them on a stage like this, or maybe they've been a recent addition to a team?
Obviously, we have the final team from Red Reserve. They have a few players who stood out, but I want to highlight Muddy, and he's been on the stage before, but he really made a comeback for himself, because the last 2 or 3 months, as Nabi said in an interview as well, he has not been feeling it. He hasn't felt that he was used rightfully, and he hasn't been playing up to his normal level. And we saw this tournament, the Muddy that I know, the Muddy that I've played with for a long time, like really turning up throughout all the games Heroic played. He was a dominant factor of the team, and it must feel great, obviously, for him personally to make that comeback and to feel that I still have a place in this team after all the changes, after getting rid of Valde and all that kind of stuff. As well for Heroic as a team in a whole, because having Muddy in that form is something that's going to help them to make the grand final in Atlanta.
Yeah. If you had a standout player from this tournament, maybe one that isn't in the final, but one that they could be in the final.
Yeah, I mean, if it is in the final, then it would be. It's a cop-out to say just Red Reserve.
All of them, all five. That is
because they've all kind of come through. But if you want to take recent memory, right, Hampus, for me probably, because he actually had the slowest starts out of all the players in that team, but he really came through, especially versus CLG on that crazy Mirage game, and obviously carried that through. Had a spectacular semifinals versus Heroic as well. So if it's kind of an escalating factor to him, then we're in for a treat for the grand finals. But I think I'm going to have to go with one of the guys on the Red Reserve, because that story has just been very unexpected to me.
Yeah, who was the one who's been lurking a lot? Is it Mason?
Mason,
yeah. That would be mine. Because he just impressed me. As I've said a couple of times the last couple of days, I'm almost certain he was no clipping.
You're like a true KPI fanboy.
Well, they are winning the majors. It's important to get on the train early.
Go Spain.
Exactly.
Major 2018.
Yeah. You've heard it here first. Well, you haven't. We've said it maybe 4 or 5 times now.
You said it 4 or 5 times. I haven't.
No, I thought you were on board.
Nah,
we were talking backstage.
Yeah,
you told me the Spaniards, KPI, they'll be on a major 2018, no?
No.
Okay.
He's been left off. He hopped off the bus at some corner. Not sure where, but that's life.
Okay, fair enough. honestly a little bit disappointed. You'll come round to it. You'll come round to it. We'll chat afterwards. We have a very quick video for you to chat before we chat about this grand final. Take a look at this.
I wouldn't say this is really a big challenge for us. I would say it's a good tournament for me and Res, you know, to play more and get more maps under our belts.
He knows there's a CT. Oh, gets him through the wall. Draken, absolutely perfect. What is that? Coming out of the young Swede, takes both of them through the wall.
On the paper, they should win, of course, but everything can happen, and I think we showed what we're capable of doing here, and I think they should be afraid.
Rolling, Relaxa gonna get caught out, but no, the no-scope connects, and then the flick to follow suit. 25 seconds on the clock, Madi with an opening, but there's the tag. Relaxa holds them in.
Anything less than winning, to be honest, is gonna be a disappointment.
It's gonna be fun to kick some Swedish ass and my old teammates. I will do everything I can possibly do to lift that trophy.
I will kill people to win the final. That's how you win games.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the grand finals match of the DreamHack ASTRO Open here in Valencia. We started with 8 teams, and now we only have 2 teams remaining. At this time, please welcome to the stage Red Reserve and Ninjas in Pajamas. All right. So it's almost game time here, and I've got just 2 questions for you both. I'm going to kick it off with just a little bit of a question here for you, Makaleli. As the underdog going into this matchup, what do you have to say on your team's behalf?
We just need to crush. We just need to keep our focus, and we just need to do it together.
Totally understandable. Now, Mr. Alassane, when we look at the Ninjas in Pajamas, coming into a clear crowd favorite from one team, former teammate to another, what do you have to say?
Let's have a fun game, and the winner takes it home. You know, nothing special to it. So
that's about how it works right there. Now, guys, shake hands and let's get this underway, huh? Top 10 awkward moments. Top 10, easily.
Wow. Nothing special for NiP. But Makaleli's changed his tune. Before the last match, they were like, we're happy to get out of groups. We're cool with where we are. And now he will do anything to pick up that trophy.
He wants to crush.
He wants to crush. He wants to pick up that trophy. He means business.
I can tell serious handshakes being exchanged as well.
And that was like a presidential handshake.
There we go. Pretty accurate, yeah. No, it should be make for a fun match. Again, we alluded to the fact that domestic matchups are usually pretty fun, whether it's because of just entertainment value or quality. That obviously varies from time to time, but it should make for a pretty interesting finals nonetheless. And I think the benefit that the Red Reserve have of going into this with absolutely no pressure is going to allow for them to play at a really high level like we saw in the semifinals.
Yeah, let's have a quick talk about how NiP got to this point now. And as we spoke about earlier, we saw the groups. They sailed through the group stages. How do you think they'll be feeling based off their previous results this weekend?
I think they'll be feeling very confident, and it honestly has been looking very confident. They only had one stump throughout the tournament. That was the one map against Envious, but we talked about how great Envious actually played today, so I wouldn't say that necessarily is a problem for NiP, and I don't think they dwell by that. I think they're very happy about the tournament so far. As stated in the beginning, they want to check out their map pool, they want to keep improving with the 2 new guys, and I feel like despite of however this final goes, you know, NiP have already completed what they came here for. So obviously they want the win, that's for sure, but still they learn a lot about themselves. So easy group stage for them, and again, a hard match against Envious, but it seems like they're confident. I also talked to Christopher out backstage, and he seems like very calm and collected.
Yeah, as you saw that on the stage as well, right? They're kind of going into it a little bit nonchalant, a little bit like, it's just another game for us. This is nothing special. Do you think that's for real, or do you think it's just an act?
No, obviously they don't want to lose this. I mean, we saw what happened with Heroic. They were always expecting to be in the finals. Anything else would be a disappointment for them. That's what Snappy said leading into the game. And I think regardless of what Get Right might have said in the interview, it would be a disappointment for them to not win this when they've gotten to this point. Especially, I think, when they go up against Red Reserve as well, because no slight towards Red Reserve, because they've obviously earned their spot here in the finals, but I think NiP, if they look at this tournament going in, they would probably expect to either play Heroic or Envious when they get to the end of the line. So for them, this has to be kind of feeling like a little bit of a gift-wrapped finals in many ways, but it's not played on paper, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I was going to say, we might just see them come into it underestimating them.
Yeah,
right?
no, a little bit, and I guess the one thing that could save them in that sense is the fact that, first off, they know they're going up against other Swedes. That's never easy. And the fact that they're going up against a former teammate. So they're not going to take lightly on it and potentially let him have his day in the sun.
Well, exactly, Jacob. That's the powerful thing, right? This redemption that he wants, he spoke about it earlier as a grudge match.
Yeah, like I know the
that's
feeling.
That's a powerful thing.
I know the feeling. I used to play with the old Dignitas lineup, now North, when I switched to SK, and every time we met them, even in like pointless online matches, or even in practice, like you always gave it 10 extra %. So I know how Michael Lille is feeling, and obviously he want to get that revenge, and he want to show them that I'm here to stay, and you shouldn't have done what you did to me back then. But again, like as you said, like there's so much that has to go in the right direction for Red Reserve to even put on a decent fight in this game. I'd say like NiP are without a doubt the huge favorite going into this match.
In addition to that, this is probably something you could speak to having had those rivalries, obviously with the old North lineup, is the fact that when you get into this kind of match and you're in Michael Lille's position, sure, it's extremely nice to be excited and hyped to get into a game, but it can also play in the wrong way, really, like to the point where you get too eager to actually put your mark on the game, you overreach, you overextend, and that actually catches you out and does more damage than it does good. I don't know if like that actually is something that came into fruition a lot of the times when you played your old teammates, but that has to be a thing.
For sure, and it's all about the attitude in that sense, especially like for me as a player, like I used to have an attitude when I played. So if I played the old North lineup and we were losing rounds we shouldn't be losing, that would affect me even more than it would do against a certain other team. And especially in this case, for I feel like Michael Lille has some sort of the same
he's an emotional guy.
for that. He's an emotional guy, and he is supposed to be the leader and the father figure of this team, so he can't let that get to him. Like that's as simple as it is. Because if he gets over eager, if he gets overexcited, and they start losing rounds they shouldn't lose, and he starts getting an attitude, that will affect the whole team. So I'm sure that's something he's on top of, but it's a great point to raise, and definitely can be affected.
So it's not just a tale of Swedes here, it's also a tale of youngsters. We've just as he's on camera, Red's just taken his shirt off. He's going to put it back on really slyly. Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting on. I want to talk a little bit about those guys we just saw on the end there, because it's kind of, as I say, a tale of youngsters. On one side we have 4 youngsters with Makalele, but actually these new additions to Ninjas have reinvigorated them. We've seen it in this tournament, we've seen it in previous tournaments. How important is it for them to be on this stage?
Well, obviously, just the experience in itself is going to be really nice, and I think Draken kind of alluded to it in his interview as well, the fact that we just need to get more maps under our belt, and doing that in an offline, situation or scenario is obviously where you want to do it, not necessarily just grind out games online. So I think it's important for them to also showcase that they can do it, when it gets to finals as well, even though it might not be the opponent they expected.
Yeah, and talking of that opponent, here they are on the other side of the stage. This is Red Reserve. We start here with Freddy Frog, and we'll work down the line, and in a moment we'll see how chilled Makalele is. Like,
looks pretty relaxed.
For someone who's just about to crush, he's looking well chilled.
Always,
give us a wink.
Always
give
putting
us a
on a show. Always.
All right. How you doing? How you doing?
He's actually so
How you doing?
Not well.
How you doing?
Hampus, a little bit more focused.
Talk a little bit more about this father figure that you spoke about briefly, the fact that he has led these Swedes to a stage grand final. That's incredible.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a role that he puts on himself as well. Yeah, try to speak English. Like he goes out in the interviews and he like acts very mature, and he acts like he is the experienced guy, and he is like this sort of father figure within the team. Whatever that's the case, down to the bone, I'm not too sure about that, but he is by far the guy with the most experience, and as I talked to Get Right about as well, like he's the guy that they can learn from. Michael Lille is probably one of the guys who has tried pretty much everything in his career. Like he's been kicked from teams, he's been making his own team, he's been winning with teams, he's tried pretty much everything, you know. So if there's anyone to ask and anyone to learn from, it should be Michael Lille.
Yeah, awesome. So let's go into the veto. Nuke and Cobble get banned first. What do we take from those bans?
First off, kind of surprised that we don't see Mirage veto from NiP. I'm not sure if this is like their way of baiting.
Is it? Is it mind games? Are they being toxic?
Because
no, but is it mind games?
It could potentially be, because again, NiP keep talking about how, well, you know, we've practiced a lot. We haven't necessarily showcased everything we know, and I think that might be the case of it, because there's no real sense for them to veto Cobble when they've just seen what Red Reserve have been able to do on Mirage. Even when they get off to rough starts, Red Reserve have been able to battle back. I guess Fred might have been sitting there meticulously with a notepad and just typing down everything that Red Reserve are doing for, you know, the 2 matches that we've seen Red Reserve play on the map. And that could be something that plays into it as well. But I don't think it's necessarily a good idea to just go completely blank into it. If you haven't practiced it, this is a silly choice by NiP. But that's definitely something I kind of want to... I wish we could kind of pull one of the NiP players out of the booth right now and ask, like, have you actually practiced Mirage?
We'll try and ask them that afterwards. I guess we'll find out when they actually play it. But I think that's so fascinating, the fact that we're discovering NiP, like, for a second time, this new lineup. We have no idea which maps they've been practicing, and you know, before this tournament, we thought they only played Cash. Do you know what I mean? And it's... Now we're discovering what they're going to be strong on, and I think that's such a nice place to be.
I feel this is them living up to their word. Like, they said they want to try out the map pool, and they said they weren't scared about playing any maps, you know. So as you like correctly pointed out, giving Red Reserve Mirage is kind of a gamble. On the other hand around, as you also said, like, they've been playing it so much throughout the tournament. They've been playing total 5 overtimes on the map itself, you know. There's nothing they can like hide from NiP at this point. Like, NiP knows everything they're going to do on Mirage, so that could play in as a factor as well. And what better stage to actually test out your map pool than a DreamHack Open final?
The problem I have with them, if that is their mentality of literally we saw them play it so we can counter it, is the fact that if you don't have any base practice on the map, then you're going to get lost regardless. Just not necessarily on the T side, because you can still play somewhat puggy and find results just off of individual skill and team play, but when you get to the CT side and you need to keep in check of rotations, how to do proper retakes, actually, you know, limiting nade usage until the very last moment when you actually need them, all those kind of things come through practice and not just, you know, doing things theoretically. So again, it's interesting to see, and especially because NiP has been so adamant about banning out Mirage as the first map for every single series they've had so far in this tournament. But again, you know, they might have saved this all along, or it might just be what Jacob mentioned, the fact that it is very much a tournament for them to try things out.
Mekalele had a long night. We know how that feels, boys, don't we?
Yeah, he doesn't seem phased, at least. He's not under pressure. He doesn't seem nervous at all or stressed out, so I guess that's a good thing. Having a laid-back attitude towards going into the finals versus a very, very clear favorite.
So, in terms of predictions then, because it's really, like, predictions this weekend have been difficult, do you think?
It's been a weird one.
It hasn't all gone the way we expected it, or that you guys expected it.
I think Red Reserve has messed us up in a big way in that sense.
Yeah, and then KPI definitely went my way, so... Yeah. Let's talk about predictions, map by map, Mirage. Do we think NiP have practiced this enough that they will completely trash them?
I reason they must have. Like, I don't believe they would put
it's NiP
down.
Though it's NiP vetoes.
Yeah, I don't believe. I believe this is a work of Fred. He's been seeing them playing Mirage, and I believe NiP maybe not have practiced Mirage too much, but they have played it a little bit, so they feel confident enough to play it now. As you said, like, it is a gamble, and I'm looking very much forward to seeing NiP playing Mirage, because it's been a while since we saw them play. It was not a map they were especially good on with Freiburg and the whole, like, old NiP era. So again, like we talked about, bringing in tuner guys could change the whole map pool, could change the whole attitude about how you see on a map and how you look on a map. So it's just going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and we've seen Red Reserve on Mirage a couple of times, and there's been some interesting points in those maps as well. So predictions for Mirage.
Predictions for Mirage, I'm going to go with NiP. even though it's a blank statement, I don't have any necessary info to back that up with. But again, they should be the better team. They should know what they're getting themselves into. I'm just crossing my finger that this is not one of the classic NiP vetoes.
Yeah, and if we go, and then when we move on into Cash, how are we feeling about that?
I fear NiP is the clear-cut favorite on Cash. Like there's no doubt about it. Like we've seen NiP play Cash at Cologne, very impressive. We've seen them play Cash today, very impressive.
Yeah, they haven't shown any real weaknesses really on that map, and we haven't really seen anything. Sure, Red Reserve had I think they played Cash once here in this tournament, or maybe twice, if I'm not mistaken. But in any case, yeah, they haven't looked poor on Cash by any means, but not at the level that NiP are playing it at.
So actually, for both of you, it's a 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I hadn't thought about it until just now.
Go with your heart.
I'm going to go for Red Reserve.
Just because?
No, because of the way they've been playing today. I think they are so chilled about it, and I actually think that lack of pressure is a very powerful thing. And I think that's why Get Right is saying things like, "Oh yeah, this is just another game," because at the moment it's theirs to lose. And I think there's no pressure on Red Reserve, so that's one for me. Who do you think the crowd will be behind?
NiP.
Yeah, I think that's the case in any country, no matter where. Like, if NiP are playing, people are probably going to root for NiP.
Cool. Our casters are ready to have a quick chat with us before we jump into the game. Harry and Risk, how are you boys?
You know what, we're doing fantastic. Well, I'm speaking for myself. I imagine Risk, I imagine you're doing great as well.
Pretty good, I would say.
You're looking sharp. I love those jackets.
Yeah,
thank you.
We got nice and dressed up for you. I figured, you know, the Swedes, they earned that much. They've been playing phenomenally well. I have to say, I'm going to go with NiP as well to take this.
Yeah, you're with these guys. Harry, what happened? I thought you normally side with me.
Well, I mean, I was going to go really sit on the fence and say whatever happens, the Swedes are going to win.
So
brilliant. I'll go with, you know,
I'm glad you didn't say that.
I'm going to stick with NiP.
Yeah, I think every single argument you can make about this match pretty much points towards NiP. I think it's down to the fact if Red Reserve can do something on Mirage that's new, because Fred, as Pim said, like has the whole playbook of Red Reserve just written down at this point. So if they can pull something out, they need to do it on Mirage, because I think Cash is going to be a whitewash.
Yeah, well, I have to agree.
Guys, I believe the game is ready. Crowd, get your vuvuzelas out. I can already hear them. It's amazing. Get your air horns out and make a load of noise. Guys, take it away.
Tried to get one of them in here and they wouldn't let me have it. But
really?
Yeah, no, that's a real shame. Probably would have sounded horrible through these. Yeah, the grand final of the DreamHack ASTRO Open Valencia 2017 about to be underway, and it is a Swedish showdown. NiP versus Red Reserve. We're almost ready to get into this one. The first map is going to be Mirage. Risk, how are you feeling as we get ready just to sail into some Swedish CS?
This is a pretty big thing for me, because 5 years ago when I came in from CS Source into CSGO casting when no one else was doing it, I casted the DreamHack Valencia 2012 for, what was it, $10,000 prize pool, which NiP took in the final. And now they're in the final here again, and I have gotten the pleasure of casting them once again. That time around, it was with a guy called Jimmy Wissenhunt, who's now working for Twitch. Pansy was actually around back then as well, but now it's you, Harry. And I'm excited.
And in the same way that I'm new talent. There's new talent up on the stage. So, yeah, let's take a look as well. We've already spoken about it a little bit, but the journeys that these guys had getting here. And I think, you know, most notably, we know about NiP, we know about these guys, but Red Reserve, they're the kind of new faces on the scene. It's 4 youngsters along with Makalele, the father figure. Not really the most, you know, not the most friendly of father figures, but, you know, still a fantastic guy, fantastic player. And he's the one bringing in the experience.
It's a fun team, because they had a lot of trouble online before this tournament. If I'm not mistaken, they have participated in every single qualifier they have like had their chance to, and they have not qualified for anything apart from this event.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's actually what I was going to say. These guys couldn't qualify for Atlanta. They couldn't qualify for Austin. They didn't qualify for Tour either. But here they are, sat in the finals in Valencia, about to face off against NiP. It's the old gods of Swedish CS versus the new boys, the up-and-comers. And we're about to head into map number 1. It's Mirage, and the pistol round already started off. We've got Red Reserve. They're going to be on the CT side. NiP already making their way out towards mid.
Here we go, Draken coming in, taken up by Hampus as we start things off. And it's going to be an advantage for Red Reserve. Red Reserve right now have a 90% win rate with the current lineup on this map. NiP are looking to destroy that, to crush that.
Already though, Draken, he has been crushed. NiP They've got 4 players over here towards ramp. Lining up some smokes, but Hampus, he's going to be the thorn in their side. He's already gone aggressive. Rez, the man sitting in lower tunnels, going to find it difficult as the smoke does come in. There's players staring down over in middle. Relax is going to be covering the push on into Sandwich. Finds the first. He's going to be darting back and forth within the site. Players pushing up for NiP. Going to get isolated. Forest over to trade this out. Now Hampus pounces in from behind. They lose Rez over in middle. Leaving this on Exist and Forest. Down goes Exist. It's all on Forest. 1v3. He's got himself the bomb. He's within the site, but Hampus, being in Palace, darting back and forth. Smoke is down to cover him up from Connector. Takes the peek on out. The Red Reserve playing this one perfectly, taking their time. Whittling that timer away. Forest just being shipped away slowly. Peek comes out from Hampus. His health just getting taken down more and more. He's going to go ahead and take the duel. Now the player forced out from Palace. They're going to push up through Connector. Forest chipping away. How's no one killed each other yet? He's going to go down within the site as Hampus finally finishes him off, and that is Red Reserve to pick themselves up the pistol round.
What Red Reserve did really well in that round was that they used the direction and like the distance advantage you have with the USPS. We see it here, Hampus taking that challenge. He knows if he can be in the position where he can take that medium range battle and not let the Glock come close to him, he can win that any day of the week. And the same did all the other players when they held down that A bomb site. They used the distance between them and the terrorists to use that USPS to their advantage. Right now, 5 UMP 45s against a full set of pistols as NiP will try their luck. We do know that pistols are strong in this game. I know Vendetta especially likes it a lot. Kappa.
NiP trying to grab control of mid. The smoke's gone down for Connector and Hampus. He's going to go ahead and take the aggression. Already damage has been done to Relax, so that's forced him back out of window room, and this is going to leave Hampus a bit more of a tricky position. Damage done with that nade. He's going to go ahead and leave Connector. Does have Makalele up on short to try and help him out. Rez has been boosted into window, and already, because Relax is so low, he can't take the duel. Hampus going to step up instead and will be quick to deal with the boosted player. It's Draken coming in through a ramp who could make all the difference. Rusty within the site, going to peek on out, does find some damage. Now they know that Draken's here. Everyone else for NiP falls in mid. It's all on the young Swedish AWP. 1v5 with a Deeg in hand.
Yeah, normality seems to have been restored here in this tournament because the 4-sword pistol round does not guarantee anything, and that's how it's supposed to be with these rounds. UMP 45s or M4s in that sense should generally just mow down pistols as they do in this one. Red Reserve really utilizing the advantage they have in weaponry to get themselves that round locked in. So now 2-0, NiP forced on a full eco, and the next one will be the buy from them. It's going to be pretty much the Glock train, 1P to 15. That's all the investment from NiP.
Yeah, in the next round, really, we get to see if what, the guys on the desk predicted does hold true, and that is whether or not Threat, the coach of NiP, has been just religiously watching these games on Mirage, and if they feel comfortable enough to take the duels. Over here in mid, it is just a slaughter. With only pistols, no armor up behind it, they are just going to go ahead and get completely annihilated by the UMPs. It's money made for Red Reserve. $1,500 farmed up there for Hampus. They're going to go ahead and convert all the rounds necessary, 3-0, and now NiP get their buy on the board.
Let's see if they're going to go for the full bonus round, because they did technically have 5 UMP 45s. They're going to go for 1 M4. So pretty much a bonus round right now. And that, of course, means that if they lose this, it doesn't really matter that much economically. They still have money to buy up, maybe even 2 times. So that's really nice for the Red Reserve economy. NiP, on the other hand, if they get smacked down here by Red Reserve, their economy is going to be pretty much 0. They'll have to go into another pistol round and give Red Reserve an even bigger lead, which is not what they want to do on Red Reserve's map choice. They want to get a good start and bounce back straight from that pistol loss.
Now Draken, he's snuck up through lower tunnels. He's going to push out through mid. Having him here allows him to try and help the players out over towards top mid, get these trades. This is actually similar to how we saw CLG play for mid versus Red Reserve yesterday, and it did work out. So they're trying to follow the same sort of direction there.
Would have worked out if they had defused the bomb at least.
Hampus going to go down across. If I connected, does get spotted out now. He's in jungle. Pump flash from his teammate within the site to try and keep those Swedes at bay. Currently residing connected, but no. Rusty takes the peak. Going to go down to Rez. That's the A-bomb site partially opened up. There's still 2 players here. One of which over towards jungle is going to be Hampus. He finds the first, but he's been tagged incredibly low. It's Freddy Frog hiding up in Palace, who could make all the difference. One of the UMPs on Makalele finds the first. Out comes Freddy, but he doesn't quite deny the plant. He does, however, find a frag and then fall on back into the safety of Palace. Draken gonna drop out Hampus, but the man advantage still in favor of Red Reserve. Damage being done by Get Right within the site, but he falls to Makalele. Now it's all on Draken in a 1v3. Bomb gonna be taken away. Trapped over in CT. Fake out the defuse, the peeks on out. The nade's doing some serious damage. He's gonna be tipped away, but he does get one. Makalele pushes on up. And the ex-Ninja, the fallen Ninja, to secure that round there for Red Reserve as they go 4-0 up on their map pick.
Really nice retake coming in then from Red Reserve and hiding that player in Palace, choosing to wait for the rest of his team before just pushing out and just timing that perfectly with the same time the bomb was planted and just coordinating that retake. That was beautiful to see, and that's something that new teams just don't learn like in a day. This is something that Red Reserve have been preparing for a long time, and it's not because they have scripted or planned anything, it's just the communication of the team and the timing is on point. And that's very important when you're playing against a nice team or a really strong team like NiP, who are right now forced into a rifle round where they don't have much utility. And that was what I was talking about earlier. Like, the money is not going to be good after losing all these rounds. NiP, no utility here. One smoke and one flashbang is all they have.
They've already lost Rez over in mid. Exist was there to try and help out, but wasn't able to get the trade. Now Get Right going to take matters into his own hands out here towards ramp. 3 players currently residing inside of A for Red Reserve. NiP sending 2 players up short. Have Forest in apartments. Plan is here, have Get Right double back through T-spawn, then grab that bomb and try to split into B. Makalele. We know that he's trying to play confident into this one, acting like he doesn't care. And he's going to be the one that they meet first over on short. Forest now beginning his tirade up into apps. Going to be clearing out these angles. Smoke comes in from Makalele, but Forest is already past it. Freddy doesn't take the peek, so they don't get the information as he just holds the more passive angle, but Makalele in with a nice quick flick. Drops him out the equation, playing this from bench, doing damage onto the players on short, tapping away. Both of these guys missing. Exist finally drops him off. But Freddy's still alive up in apps, and he's causing so many problems. They've bought plenty of time for the rotates. The bomb's dropped up on platform. It's Exist in a 1v3, falling from behind as Relaxer finishes him off. That is going to be Red Reserve in with a 5th.
And of course, we're still talking early days here on Mirage, but this is becoming a bit of a problem here for NiP, because now they had 2 AK rounds plus the pistol round, which was relatively equal as well. And they haven't really looked that strong. They've gotten the bomb down, they've had some nice angles, but in the end, Red Reserve has always looked very secure in all of these rounds here, plus of course the conversion rounds, which they've taken easily. So NiP not looking as hot as I probably would predict them to do. This is a bit strange. Now they're setting up for the standard A take. 1 towards Palace, rest from that ramp. Let's see if this is going to happen. Smokes are falling down.
Yeah, wall of smokes comes in. It's an interesting one. Actually denies vision of the players within the site. This is a complete wall. They can try pushing on through and just get the bomb plant. That's all this is designed for. It's a very nice strategy. And actually out comes Get Right. He goes in, swinging, gets himself 2 with the Tech 9. And he's already done a boatload of damage, worked his way into the back line here. Relaxer is still alive within the site, but he first has to contend with Forest, and that's going to be too much to ask for as he hits the deck. Get Right's worked around to CT. Forest still has the Deagle. The 2 remaining players for Red Reserve, both isolated in connector. Now going to start to push on him. Time very far gone, and they might be forced to save. Get Right being in the back line just causes too many issues. With so many angles left to check, they're still making their way into the site. Damage being done. Going to go ahead and try and stick the defuse, and actually, he might be able to get away with this one. Get Right! No! Doesn't manage to get the peak. The defuse comes in, and Red Reserve, a round that they had no business getting, just in the nick of time. The confidence there from the young Swedes to pick themselves up a 6th. NiP, they've got to be hurting now.
That last second call to come in towards the bomb site and go straight for that defuse, that was so ballsy coming out of Red Reserve. That's not something we see a lot, especially in this situation. You either take a decision if you want to go and get that first frag, or you want to go save, and then you can work from that. But this time around, they just go straight for the defuse. His teammate covers him, and it comes in 6-0 for Red Reserve to start us off. Full power round coming in for both teams now. Draken finally on that orb. Relaxer on an orb of his own, and full utility for both of them. And now NiP needs to win this round. Let's just be real. They need to assert some dominance, say, okay, you had your fun, you had the good start, now we come in and now we take the game, because Red Reserve, they could run away with at least map 1 here.
NiP getting a bit hot under the collar. They've turned their attention into middle. Once again, it's their go-to place to try and take. They've smoked off connector and window. Going to be trying to push up short with 2 players over at ramp. It's going to be reminiscent of an 8-8. They're going to be able to find Makalele as he takes some aggression early on. Draken is able to pounce with the AWP. It's the first time we've seen him have it on this T side, and already it's got them off to a good start. Forest over in connector. Rusty holding off Palace. And NiP have rotated everyone round, with the exception of Exist, who lies in wait over in ladder room to try and catch off these rotations. Little do they know, both players from B currently reside in CT spawn. Push now coming on in, Rusty forced back as they go hurtling on out towards Tetris. He's going to have to step up in a big way. Self flashes out and falls to get right now. It's Relaxer holding this off from CT. The Molotov forces him back, and now we can see the aggression potentially come in from Exist or Forest. Both of these players over in jungle. It's a 3v5 in the retake. Ampus the first man to fall, and now it's just Freddy and Relaxer remaining. They're just going to make the decision, play this one safely, go ahead and save, and this will be NiP to find their first round.
That was just a textbook round coming up from NiP there, and what they did especially was that they knew that Red Reserve didn't want to play too much around that jungle control and around that mid-window control, so they got Exist up and to hold that position when they eventually rotated in. So he could punish them if they came by, but that didn't even come to a conclusion because all of them just went straight to CT, got mollied off, couldn't retake all 3 from the same position, and then ran away to save but got punished as well. So pretty much textbook stuff coming out of NiP then. Very clear that Threat has actually been reading the strats and been looking at the demos and everything setting up for this, but Drake can start things off quick against Makalele.
Yeah, Drake in a position that Makalele once found himself in. A budding young Swedish AWPer trying to make his way in NiP. He does drop him out. Rez going to help out in mid that much more as Hampus. The next man to fall. Rusty's trying to take their place up in window. Has to try and watch for any sort of boost to come on in from NiP. Smoke is down, so won't have any vision of middle. Exists pushed up short. Joining him is Rez.
Looks like the same setup from last round, but the problem is, yeah, Freddy's going to push and see the bomb here. He's in the back of all of these players. Hasn't noticed the bomb yet, I think, but he knows they're in middle and he knows he can grab a couple of frags here at least. Oh no, Draken turns around and nails him to the floor, and that's pretty much the round gone now. Freddy had such a big advantage, but couldn't capitalize. Now it's all on Relaxer 1v5. Surely there's no way.
Yeah, he's over here on ramp. Now the bomb is coming in from behind. He is stuck between a rock and a hard place as he desperately tries to cling on for survival. They're going to go ahead and check it, and Forest will finish him off. Sprays the nice shot down as well, and that's NiP in with their second as they look to try and get some more rounds back on the board.
Very nice reactions from Draken. Pulls out the opening onto Makalele. See here. That turnaround. Knows exactly what Freddy's doing. He should have no business of getting the kill there. Freddy should just nail him to the floor and get that over with. But now, Red Reserve forced onto a full USP eco, and they're going to go for mid-control. Going for that 4-man window push. At least going to get 1 out of it, maybe even seconds. As the rest is taken down to 12 HP, but it's denied. Freddy, 42 HP in a dream alive here.
That nade somehow doesn't do any damage. He's a lucky, well, a little bit, but not as much as you would have thought. Probably think window is going to be clear at this point. Smoke now starts to dissipate another nade. Oh, Draken's already there. Fast on the trigger does do the job of dropping out Freddy, and now we're going to see NiP in with their third.
Yeah, and Red Reserve in a position where they can buy, but not in a position where they can get 100% what they want. They're actually going to have to drop the AWP over. Rusty had to buy it, and that means he has no utility, so they're missing a bit here, but still a decent buy from them. Should be able to work something out, but the NiP economy right now is scaling up. Getting a lot of money on that T side, and it's so hard to play against a team that just constantly has money. Even if you punish them and get around back, they can just easily buy that full setup once again. And number 10 incoming here, and Draken looking for it. He gets it, rest the same, and 2-man advantage already for NiP.
Draken is just on fire right now. NiP have got control of mid. Relaxer with the AWP of his own, going to be able to step on up and execute get right out towards a ramp. Trying to return this back into the equal playing ground it should be, as now NiP are pushed up through short. Rusty resides alone within B, but he's already had Relaxer rotate into shot to try and help out. Spots out the first player as Relaxer and Rusty between them Able to pick up 2, now takes the peek, but Draken is quick to trade this one back. Relaxer, alone in shop, gonna take the peek out with the AWP. Has to be careful because Exist is holding close. Draken gonna be watching for the cross. Relaxer misses the flick. Bomb has made it across into the site. Draken now holding the push. Top flash gonna come out, misses its mark. Draken does duck away, but he misses the opening shot. Bomb timer gonna be taken away.
Repositions himself to the middle of the bomb site. Very nice.
Relaxer and Freddy now going to start to try and go for this one. They find Exist. Draken now in the 1v2. Bomb time has been ticking away for quite some time. They have to be fast. They don't have a kit, but Draken's been forced back into a corner. Goes for the no-scope. They haven't been able to deal with him just yet. He stays alive. And he might have stayed alive long enough to deny this. It's going to be very, very close if Red Reserve want to get this, but they should have enough time. It will be a 7th for the Red Reserve as NiP lose out in the afterplan.
Yeah, that was not optimal for NiP there, 2v2 and losing both duels straight away, not peeking together and not timing it correctly, which is the reason why Red Reserve could grab that round. But as I mentioned earlier, the economy of NiP is pretty strong. See Res still on 8.4k after buying in this round. Can afford an AWP on Draken as well. Get that whole thing going once again, 3-7. Red Reserve still in the lead, and one more round then they pretty much win the first half. And that's definitely a good start for them. This is their map choice. We have to remember how strong NiP are on cash. So if Red Reserve wants to take it and make it into a battle, they have to win Mirage.
That was actually the first time we've seen Draken go down since he got onto the AWP. He has looked phenomenal. Over in mid, once again, NiP trying to get control of this early on. The only difference being is this time they turn their attention towards Connector. Forest ready to push up. The rest of NiP currently down in mid. There's a player in ladder that they have to watch out for. It's Hampus playing it up close with the UMP. Draken going to take the peek, goes for the no-scope, and then falls at the first hurdle, misses the shot. And now the ban advice going the way of Red Reserve. The rest of NiP trying to make their way up through short. They know where Hampus is, but they aren't able to capitalize on the information they've got. As now they find themselves trapped over in middle. Hampus falls back as he picks himself up the AWP. Relaxer going to chime in with one onto Forest as they re-extend that man advantage. Rez going to be tagged away as well as Hampus takes the peek, but Rez does manage to guillotine him there.
Right now, B seems like the best option, but NiP is reading this very well. They know that how the rotates work on Red Reserve, so it's staying put for right now and slowly probing in. Using the time, still have 20 seconds to go, but they have to make a decision now of where they want to go, and they decide on that B bomb side, immediately gets shut down. And now there's simply no time.
Yeah, Red Reserve, they've rotated everyone into B. There's, 3 players out of the 4. It's all on Exist into a 1v4. He makes it a 1v3. Going to go ahead and hop into the site. There's very little time, and Makalele will be quick to put him to bed. Red Reserve in with an 8th. They're looking to try and run away with this first map. It's one that has become a little bit, not just, a good map for Red Reserve, but it's notoriously a map that NiP have opted to neglect.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They definitely usually ban this one out and nuke. And that's why when we also, the video come in and we saw Red Reserve banning out nuke, everyone was thinking, okay, they're probably going to ban out Mirage now, and then we're going to have an easy NiP victory. But this didn't happen now. We're on Mirage. But one thing that I would like to note as well, against Heroic, the T side of Red Reserve was not very good in Mirage, so that's something that I'm kind of looking towards NiP maybe to exploit coming into the second half, because of course Red Reserve now on 8 can maybe gather more rounds as well, but I wasn't really impressed in that last game.
I mean, one of the things for NiP, right, this is a team that you have to bear in mind, these guys are legends within their own right, but they're coming into this having not won an event since IEM Oakland back in 2016. Yeah. So it's all right saying that this is just another game to these guys. But I mean, really, they have looked better since the roster changed. There's no denying that. But this is one that I feel like they have to win. If they don't, then not only is that kind of embarrassing, but it's a bit of a disaster really on NiP's front. And already, Red Reserve being 5 rounds up. Granted, this is their map pick. It's a map that NiP don't like.
And they're on the stronger side right now.
But yeah, I mean, there's
for them at least.
All the pressure is on NiP really.
Well, let's see here. They do need to grab. In my opinion, if NiP can get 5 to 6 rounds on this half, it's actually going to be okay. But let's see if they can grab them, because right now only on 3. So if Red Reserve can shut this down, get a 12 to 3 half, it's going to be perfect for them.
Yeah, now same thing again from NiP as they turn their attention out towards middle. You've got Get Right lurking over at ramp on A, waiting to see if any aggression comes out from Red Reserve, and Draken going to open this round up.
Yeah, it's a pretty good standard default they're putting up right now. One player towards B apartments, one player towards A apartments to shut down any aggression coming out from the CTs, and then just focusing on that mid control, using the time, using the smokes, and then slowly but surely taking mid control. And that is the name of the game on Mirage as it is on Cash. So those two maps are quite similar when it comes to mid control. NiP slowly moving forward, Exist in that position once again. Hampus has heard him though. It's definitely aware of something.
Yeah, this is that same A site take we saw NiP do rounds ago. Exist, he's made his way into Ladderum. He's the one responsible for shutting off the rotations, but Hampus, as you said, is aware of his positioning. The rest of NiP currently reside over here at ramp. They're ready to push in, lining up the smokes and flashes necessary to facilitate this play. As they rain in, Relaxer, quick on the trigger. Draken's already gone down, and that's going to be the 4-on-4 initiated as they try to push on in. Makalele holding up close. He's the one to try and shut this down. He actually completely misses out the player that's crossed to this site, and in the blink of an eye, Relaxer and Makalele both fall in A. Now Exist comes pouncing on out from the woodwork as it all falls onto Freddy. 1v4 all the way over here at the B-bomb site. He is locked out of this round, and that will be a 4th cemented for NiP.
Freddy in a position now where there's literally no chance of him winning, and with the money being low as it is in the team, it's a good decision to not go for anything. Not even denying weapons here would do him any good. The whole focus of him right now should be to save that weapon, really. As NiP will survive with 4 members, get that orb with them as well, even take a bit of utility into the next round. So their economy standing strong despite them only being on 3 rounds. And let's see here, Freddy, will he be able to survive? He won't. Exist takes him out in the last second of the round. And that is not good for the Red Reserve economy. Definitely needs to make some decisions here. I'm pretty sure that decision is going to be an eco.
Yeah, Makalele has a bit more money. He's decided to invest into the Deeg, but everyone else with the USP. NiP, this time, 3 players over in mid once more. Exact same setup with Get Right holding the ramp push. This time a little bit more passively, doesn't want to push up as far. This way you can hear any aggression coming on in, and actually he's going to go ahead and relinquish all control. This allows Red Reserve, if they had gone for a rush, it meant that, you know, you wouldn't see someone from NiP go down early on and then them juggle the rifle back and forth. Instead, he's holding all the way from T-spawn, has the guys in mid to help out. But Hampus has done great damage early on. Exist tagged down to 18 HP. Luckily enough, Rez was there to help him out.
And this is the B-focused default right now. Looking to take control of a mid, then short. And then have 1 player in those apartments and then go for the B split. And that's pretty much what's happening right now. NiP just getting frags left, right, and center. And there's nothing that the pistols or Red Reserve can do to stop this. Might be able to catch Exist off guard here with the low HP mid, but surely not going to happen. NiP going to rotate around and let a full HP player deal with him. So now we're in a position, Harry, where NiP going to be on 5 rounds, 5 to 8. Of course, still Red Reserve winning the half, but if it becomes 7 to 8, and we know, like, Red Reserve, they're good on Mirage, but their T side is not that impressive. NiP could still, despite a bad start, be able to take this 2-0. Relaxer and the boys need to step it up. 8 is not enough.
Yeah, both teams now running at 5 rifle rounds each. Does leave them even in that regard, with Red Reserve being ahead as a result of the pistol and the respective anti-ecos. We are going to be seeing them still with that lead, and they can afford to buy up now. Makalele going to be on the AWP. Draken, his counter-AWPing partner on the other side, going to have that in his hands as well. Plenty of utility here for NiP. Red Reserve looking a little bit limited. You can see Rusty has foregone the extra firepower in favor of picking up that UMP. Get Right, starting things off over at ramp. Spots the players crossing to connector, calls that there might be a peek coming on in. That's why Draken, you can see, he's holding back, playing this more passively. And now he's got his teammates here to help out. They're going to go ahead and seize control of mid once more.
Yeah, it's the same setup, the same default they're running right now. And in the last couple of rounds, it has been working out. So it's all down to that mid-round call. If they can make the space, get the opening kill, then NiP pretty much has this on lockdown. That's kind of the situation you get in, especially on Mirage on that T side. If you have a default that's working out and it just starts getting you round after round after round, you kind of get stuck in that, and that's the one thing that NiP cannot do right now. They need to still keep their mind fresh, be aware of the fact that they can get shut down at any point, and constantly be on guard. I think they are, especially with threat behind them.
So NiP just strolling down mid. Hampus has been smoked off, but there's a player pushed just ahead of that smoke in the form of Relaxer. McAlealy going to miss the shot. Now this is where Relaxer peeks out to try and help. Instead, McAlealy going to play things more passively. Relaxer going to deal with the player pushing up through connector. Takes the peek to short, and Exist will trade that back. Hampus has rotated in. Going to take the peek out from connector. Spots Draken rotating off in mid, and he's still got more work left to do. Actually claims himself a second. Exist, the trade king for NiP. Let's pull that back. Now one man within the A-bomb site. It's Rusty. 2 players from NiP. Starting their offensive on through. McAlealy is rotating in CT spawn. He hears the footsteps. NiP with only 10 seconds left, they have to commit to this. If they can deny the plant, then this would be huge. McAlealy finds the first. Get Right gets the bomb down, but that is going to be it for him as Red Reserve pick themselves up a 9th round.
Yeah, and that was all on the back of what Hampus did in middle, really. Like, McAlealy was about to rotate towards B, and they were about to do the B split from apartments and short, but he peeks out at the correct time. Picks up the first one, goes for the duel on the second. This is a bit unnecessary, but he still trades. He trades 2 for 1 and drops the bomb. Makes NiP forget about the whole mid-round call and the whole mid-round plan, and force him going onto the A-bomb site where they're ready. Pretty much. Red Reserve grabbing themselves 9 now as we head into the last round of the first half. Double up set up on that CT side. McAlealy and Relaxer, both with 1 full buy for both teams. This is what it comes down to. Is it going to be 10-5 or 9-6? Both are still a pretty good start, but 10-5 is, I think, what Red Reserve needs.
NiP ready to execute out. They've thrown down that wall of smokes once again. It denies all vision apart from Relaxer, who's made his way up on top of Ticket Booth to peek over the top. A perfect counter to this. That's what the players up in Palace are designed to try and deal with. He comes in, Relaxer's fully flashed and picks that one up. Hampus now peeks out within the site and is going to fall. Get Right up close and connector. Can't face off against Rusty. The man advantage in favor of Red Reserve right now. The rotate still hasn't even come in as Freddy still just waiting over on the B-bomb site. NiP have got the bomb within the site, but they can't get it down. They've used up all their smokes on that great wall, and it did not prevail. It came tumbling down around them, and now they find themselves trapped within the A-bomb site. A prison of their own making as the crosshairs just digging into them. Rez going to open this one up, tap and away. Forrest helps him out. McAlealy falls within connector. Relaxer leaves CT. That brief lull in the action allows NiP to get the bomb down. And now we're going to see Freddy and Relaxer. 2 versus 3. Bomb ticking away. Both players making their way towards CT spawn, ready to try and go in. Coming in from the same angle. Footsteps going to be heard. Relaxer takes that first peek. Close within the site. Going to be Forrest who finishes them both off. They line up for him. Freddy and Relaxer hit the deck, and with that, NiP cement a 6th round on the board. The first half does see Red Reserve with a 3-round advantage. But NiP, they're closing that gap.
And Forrest is having a sick game so far. He's on 13 frags and finishes with a 3K, as you say, and he has played well in this tournament. It's not just been Rez, as we saw at ESL 1 Cologne, really stepping up. It's been Draken, it's been Forrest, and it has been Rez a bit as well. But it's so great to see one of the greats of Counter-Strike, Forrest, has come all the way from 1.6, a legend in that game, straight into CSGO, the legendary 87-0 run with NiP in the beginning, and he's still here, and he's still firing on all cylinders, able to get a top fragging position for his team. 9-6 is the first half score, and now it all comes down to the fact if Red Reserve has bettered their T side from when we saw them play against Heroic, because back then it was very slow, it was very repetitive, and it wasn't impressive.
And it's funny that you bring up the 87-0 period for NiP, because that was, you know, when they actually won DreamHack Valencia back in 2012, it was during that.
That was the start of that period.
In the final versus Very games. And they've already beat a set of Frenchmen to get here, so now it's, they have to fight themselves. It's a Swede-on-Swede duel. Second half underway, and Red Reserve just going to go fast into the B-bomb site. Stacking on up, Rez gonna peek into it, fully flashed, the pop flash comes through. Forest doesn't get anything done from short as he's tapping away, caught out in the open, but they just completely bypass him. Exist is rotated in, Rez still alive within the site. He's bought so much time for the rotates to come through. But now Rez and Exist overextending just a little bit, go down. Draken trying to pull this back into the realms of possibility, but he falls. Draken and Forest all that remains. Coming in from short, Forest, the initial thorn in their side, still a major problem. They have to try and rid themselves of him to protect this bomb, but Forest just tapping away, comes on in. 3 clean headshots to pick that up for NiP as they secure the pistol round on the CT side. That is the 7th round, and with it, they should be able to find their equalizers.
Very important that Forest comes in from that flank, and there we see the characteristic man himself with the eyebrows and the headshots. But yeah, really nice rotate coming in from the flank. The terrorists are not aware of his flank at all. Gets the first one for free, clicks the second one, and goes for the third as well. But something that I didn't really like about that NiP setup was, or not really the setup, they were not good enough at kind of like converting their positions when the terrorists came in at first point, because they missed a lot of bullets that they probably should have hit, and maybe even got 1 or 2 kills before that retake comes in. And that could be dangerous the next coming around. This time around, works out. Draken clicks away in middle, no worries. Gets a double. And now the push comes underway. Should be easy peasy, but Relaxer comes in with 1, 2 from him actually. The P250 proves a bit too strong, but surely no more. 8 to 9.
Quick to mop him up. 1 away from equalizing this out at a 9-9 scoreline, but the buy going to come in before there for Red Reserve. Rifles across the board. Curious to see if we're going to... Okay, Rusty picking up the AK as well. It does mean that Relaxer is the only man with a full Bentley utility.
Let's see how this one's going to work out. 1 UMP-45 on that CT side. Definitely have invested into equipment and weaponry. We can once again go in for that long-range kill. As we do see Red Reserve with pretty much the same default setup. 3 guys towards middle, 1 guy towards B apartments. That guy has now rotated in towards underpass, and 1, and it's Rusty here in the picture, holding for aggressions from that CTs toward A. Bomb is still being dropped, and this is pretty much how you set up normally for playing Mirage on that T side. And then you kind of make a mid-round call after maybe the first peak of the game and the first kill of the game, and then you decide where you want to go. And that's where Red Reserve are right now in the thought process. They have to make a decision. Right now it's looking like a split B. That's the call. Draken missing that by a millisecond.
Reserve have been allowed to make their way up short. Players up in apartments as well. Only Rez within B as NiP have taken the gamble to stack on the A-bombs. Like Rez has to step up in a big way. He gets himself 1, but then falls to Hampus as the trade pulls through. Forest, the first man on the scene, going to be the first man to fall as well within the B-bomb site as he goes down. Man advantage for Red Reserve. The plant comes in and just straight into the site. Draken was a little bit overzealous, falls back, waits for the rest of his team to rotate on in. 3v4, Makalele's tag low. Get right the one to try and kickstart this, but instead he get kicked in the head. It's going to be Draken and Exist. 2v4.
There's no reason to go into this. Yep. 2v4 post-plant with terrorists. Just no way you're going to win that. It's a little bit curious that NiP go for a gamble as they do here, because they only played 1 guy towards that B bomb side. The thought process behind that is that you play him so aggressively that you get the information, you can have the rotating before the terrorists come in, but it just didn't work out in the end. Forest was the one who tried to equalize, and he missed the shot, and eventually bomb site control was given over. This time around, probably going to change their CT setup a little bit to be able to counter that late round aggression coming in from Red Reserve. 10-8 though. 2-round lead for the new gods of Sweden. The young gods of Red Reserve.
I think Challenges is a more apt name. Haven't quite established themselves at that level yet, but Draken, he's also someone out to try and prove himself. He's pushing up towards top mid. Hampus going to be flashing himself on through. As these 2 players just have a duel, they dance back and forth, and Hampus going to be the one to come off worst in the engagement. Already tagged low, get right, able to take 1 on the push out towards A, but oh, Rusty, it happens to all of us, but not at the best of times, does end up going down. And by his own hand. Man advantage right now for NiP. The bomb plant going to come on through for Red Reserve as they find themselves 2v3 in the afterplant. Rez, the one to keep the pressure on, disallow these guys to get into the most desirable afterplants. As you can see, 1 man still trapped with it. in the site. Falls. That was Relaxer, leaving this now on Freddy. They're going to check the angle. Draken takes the peek. He finds the first. Still got 2 more left to find as Rez and Forrest, the players, moving in to try and deal with him, and they will. Double peek into that, get the trade. Defuse comes in for NiP, and that will be a 9th.
Solid defense coming out of NiP there. 2 guys retaking through that A ramp. Eventually works out for them because both terrorists were focused towards that connector. But what an entry from Freddy. And then Rusty decides to, well, that actually looks pretty strange. Look at that. He sees the fire, says, I don't want to go down there, then dies. Can't explain that. I can't explain that. Someone will have to do some demo reviewing and tell me what went wrong. Gaben, please.
Right, now for Red Reserve. Looking like they want to try and find some success in B. The only issue is the only thing they're going to find anytime soon is Rez. Posted up on Van. Push comes in. Pop Flash doesn't hit him at all, so they're just going to be walking into the crosshair. Goes for the spray, does a boatload of damage, and that's going to allow Forrest to step up. Everyone painted up, tagged down so incredibly low, but Hampus in with the side swipe. Dispatching of Forrest already existing with the aggression, trying to deny this bomb plant, which they will. Makalele sits within the site on 6 HP, and he'll be finished off courtesy of Get Right on short. The equalizer found as we go 10-10.
And the money's not looking good on that Red Reserve side. That means they will be forced into a pistol round here. Deagle's probably the most expensive coming out for them right now, and will be in the hands of Hampus. NiP on the other side, sitting pretty, apart from Forrest, who is missing a couple of grenades, but as we look at the scoreboard, he doesn't really need them. Just grabs frags, left, right, and center. Draken missing the opening shot, going for the second one, but only doing damage to Rusty. And not really hitting his shots right now in mid, but luckily it doesn't really make that much of a difference as they only crossed 1 man towards that mid, taking a tiny bit of map control. So it's not the worst situation in the world, but now he gets tacked down. Hampus takes him out, wins the deal, or wins the duel with the Deagle. That was a hard one. But that has to plainly be down to Draken missing all of those shots in the beginning. That should not have happened.
And advantage for Red Reserve. They've still got the high-powered hand cannon out in mid on the back of Hampus. Exist is quick to swipe on through connector, and not showing any mercy as him, Get Right and Forrest between them completely annihilate the players in mid. Now Exist turning his attention out towards A. Get Right lines these guys up, and like a sentry turret just firing down range. Rusty will be allowed to get the bomb plant, but that's all that should be afforded to him here. With just a Glock in his pocket, he will go down. Defuse comes on in. Get Right, the one to secure NiP that 11th round.
11-10, NiP slowly but surely after slow start, edging themselves back into this one. And this is what experience gives you. Ability to just grind back rounds, even though your opponent has beaten you multiple times during the map. NiP still grinding it back. Now, I have a chance of getting an even bigger lead. Draken with a jump onto mid, takes 1 down to 17 HP. That's Michael now forced out with the Molotov. Finishes him with the pistol, and that's what you need from your AWPer. Getting that first kill, getting that 5v4, and now playing into more defensive positioning. Actually, Draken is still here in middle. Hampus taking down Res. And now it's a 4v4. Bomb is still in the control of the terrorist side. Everything is equaled out.
Yeah, Red Reserve want to try and steer clear of middle if they can avoid it. Exist is over in window, going to be smoked off as Rusty tries to push in through lower tunnels. Draken's posted up brilliantly to deal with him. They won't have to worry about this split play in through connector if Rusty falls. However, with how he's playing it right now, it looks like they might just try and use him to catch off these rotations as they come in. The rest of Red Reserve waiting over by Ramp and Palace. Only 1 man within the site, that's Get Right. Even then, he's playing it from jungle. Very, very passive hold. Push now coming on in as the first man comes soaring up through connector. It is Rusty. Get Right's going to be holding the angle. The rotate's coming in from NiP. Rusty finds the first one to exist. Still has more work to do. He's not shy of labor, though. Takes the peek on out. Get Right will finish him. Gets that trade. Now we're back into an essential 3v3 as Draken locks it down from CT. Lines them up. Gets a second. He's on 3 in total. Freddy Frog in a 1 versus 3. Bomb dropped in the middle of the site, and Freddy knows time is of the essence, has to decide how best to play this. He's going to try and take the duel with the players in CT, but there should be no way he's allowed to get away with this one. Finds the first on the Draken. He's aware that Get Right could take this peak. He knows where he is. He's going to try and play off the information. Runs around the corner, finds the frag, but there's no time left. Forest sitting in CT secures the round for NiP, and that is going to be them to take that lead. 12-10, 2 rounds their advantage.
Did some economical damage there. Not enough though. Timeout coming in for Red Reserve, behind with 2 rounds, and there's a good point to take that timeout. They need to work on that T side. They need to figure out how to counter, especially Draken on that orb. Missed a couple of bullets in the beginning of the round before, but this time around he hits everything. He's playing really well right now, and that's the important thing. If you have an AWPer in middle on Mirage, not only in middle, but he can rotate around the map and play every single angle. It's so hard to go against that as a Terry side, because you always have to smoke out positions and make sure that AWPer cannot stay there and be a nuisance. Draken is on 21 frags so far. Haven't found a counter for him on that CT side yet, Red Reserve, and they need that. They need that desperately.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue it's kind of presenting right now is that mid is always just made this kill box, right? It's kind of a no-go zone for Red Reserve. It's something that like, is very important on a map like Mirage. And as well as that, Draken's been quite dynamic on it with, with his AWPing, especially, we saw it on the T side, he was constantly moving around, would never try and use him to find a pick in the same place twice. They've done it again on their CT side. We saw him switching up his position, played window in the round before last, this time over towards short in that last round, and now just a question of where is he going to be. And the fact that Red Reserve find themselves guessing so much makes it very, very tricky for them to contend with.
Yeah, because if you can use your utility, if you always know the exact position of the AWPer, if he's window every single time, you can just smoke out window and play around that. Or if you know he peeks from connector, you can smoke that out. But if you run out of utility and use, or at least use all the utility to counter that one AWPer, and you don't have utility to do the take, that's going to be incredibly hard, and that's what's happening right now. They need to find out how to counter this, and let's see what the plan is. This is not the round, I think, where they're going to deploy all the big guns, as most of them have saved money to buy into the next one, but they're going to try their best nonetheless. They have 1 hero AK, and that's on Freddy. Hampus taken down to 15 on a Deagle. Let's Get Right, taking down that hero AK, and now it's going to be hard. It's all pistols on that T side right now.
Rez takes the peek up into Apps, finds both. That's bomb dropped, and already him and Forrest can just sit comfortably within the site. Molotov to hold back Relaxer. Down goes Hampus, and now it is all on Relaxer in a 1v5. Deeg in hand, bomb dropped in apartments, everything stacked against him. And then on top of all that, a pack of Swedes hunting him down. He is going to fall, and that is NiP in with a 13th now. And, as I was kind of just saying, Draken is being the textbook example of what I could mean when I say a dynamic AWPer with changing up his positioning on mid. 3 rounds, 3 separate positions to peak from, never once using one the same.
Yeah, and it's so hard to play against that, especially if you don't have someone who can step up to that same level. And that's where I'm looking at maybe a Relaxer or a Michael on that T side to kind of go out and challenge. But it hasn't happened yet, and they're not able to challenge Draken. And if you just leave an AWPer to free roam all over the map and play that dynamic role, play those different positions, Mirage just becomes such a hard map to win. Even though if you have like a great CT side on the back of it, if you come to that C side and you can't really handle that all power in mid, it becomes a hard game. Right now, no money, 4 AWP on the T side, all 5 AKs, full utility though. But look at that. We already have Rez pushed up all towards B. They know this is an 8 take. 4 CT players ready.
Yeah, I mean, well, with Rez,
back.
Yeah, Rez being so far pushed up gives it all away, and they're going to get caught completely off guard. Rez playing this perfectly, sneaking on by, finds the first. That's bomb dropped. Does that manage to isolate it? Macalay's been tagged low. Rusty burns in the fire and flames, gets caught there trying to push out in towards Tetris. Bomb picked up, but it's a 2v4. Makalele is going to be relegated into the fiery depths in which he belongs, and now it's all Relaxer in a 1v4. Bomb firmly under control of NiP. He's going to look to try and take some aggression. Now, there isn't any one man here, just exists, pushed up towards ramp. No one in a great spot to try and trade, especially seeing as the guy on stairs isn't peeking, but Relaxer unaware. NiP with a 14th. 4 rounds ahead now.
Rez pretty much winning that round single-handedly. First of all, he gets all the information. There's no one B. He guesses there's no one mid off recent information from one of his teammates. Comes straight into the back, gets the bomb down, throws down the Molotov that burns another terrorist, does a great load of damage onto Michael as well, so potentially picking out 3 frags. And yep, Res winning the round.
Red Reserve only getting 1 round thus far on their T side. Look at this from Draken. This aggression is what makes him so dangerous to play against. And NiP just being allowed to go this aggressive not only shows that they're confident and that they know that they can win these duels, but it's getting them so much information. This is their second time now where they've had a player in T-spawn in the first 30 seconds of the round. Exist opens up with a frag onto Hampus. The rest of the players trying to execute out towards A, but the ruse is already up. The players rotating in from NiP. Rusty able to find one, but get right tapping away. Spotted out in CT. It's going to be tagged low. He's bought key time for the rest of NiP to rotate round. It's Draken who could be the linchpin here. Sneaking on up through ramp. Rusty trying to hold the fort in CT. Falls to Draken from ramp. They're completely unaware as to where that was, though. Catches out a second as Freddy now hits the deck. It's Relaxer in a 1v3, and Draken, this man is on fire. Gets himself a third, the hat-trick for the Swedish AWPer. And he carries NiP through to map point.
What a game he's had so far, Draken. It's been absolutely a pleasure to watch him come into this game and just dominate his fellow countrymen. Double coming in there. Just perfect play from Draken.
And actually, because they spot the player out in CT as he takes that first shot with the AWP, they had no idea it was him. They think it's the guy on the other side of the smoke, which I think was actually Forrest. So, Red Reserve in a final act of desperation. They have to go and win 5 consecutively if they want to pick up their map pick. Next up is Cash. We know how strong NiP is on this, so this is a do-or-die moment for Red Reserve. With their backs against the wall, they've turned their attention to mid once more. They're going to try and go for it again. Once more into the breach as 3 players for NiP reside over towards mid. Red Reserve, 3 of their own to try and counteract this.
That's an interesting position being taken by NiP, focusing a lot on that connector and the jungle towards mid window. No one is really holding close towards A ramp on Palace, but that's fine. There's no one there from Red Reserve, so it seems like NiP have a pretty good read on how the default setups are looking. For Red Reserve, jump boost into mid. Michael gets the position, but no one is peeking out. Exist hiding here. They do have the crossfire if someone goes into the window with the boost. Let's see, Forrest opens up.
Hampus falls on that lurk over in B. Now Exist peeks out, but that's going to present the equalizer. Caught off guard is Makalele. He's going to fall at the hands of Get Right. They're going to continue this aggression out towards A. They have been allowed to slip by jungle, but there's still a player in CT for them to contend with, and it's Draken. He's been a real problem, but he will fall. Another man here to try and trade things back. It's Forrest. Get Right still within the site, causing problems in the back line. Down goes Rusty. It falls onto Relaxer in a 1v2. The eyes of his teammates digging into the back of him as they all have been eliminated. He's going to try and first contend with the man in connector. Goes for the bomb plant. Rez takes the peek. He should get taken down here. No way. He gets the bomb plant. 1v3. Rez finishes him off. NiP pick up this first map. 16-10. What looked like a very, very nice start from Red Reserve quickly turns sour as NiP come out swinging in that second half. Fantastic stuff from them.
Yeah, that's the problem that Red Reserve have on this map. Their T-side against top-level teams is just not good enough. They have a great CT side, we have to give them that, and having that great CT side against NiP is a big thing. They're doing good stuff, but it's just not 100% enough to take the win here. You need to have both sides, and you need to be aware of everything going on, and you need to be able to fix those mistakes that happen throughout the game. You need to fix them as they're happening. You can't just wait until the game is over and then say, okay, this is what we did wrong. That's what you do after the game. You have to be able to fix it while it's happening.
And let's not forget, they only got 1 round there on their T side. So to say that it was weak is a bit of an understatement. They do have to kind of revisit that, go back to the drawing board and see exactly what went wrong. A fantastic first map, though, does go the way of NiP, a map that they have opted to completely neglect up until now. They show their strength on it versus a team which have felt very at home on Mirage. Next up is Cash, and that is going to be an uphill battle to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. Cash is even more home ground to NiP than Mirage is, as you
even more, yeah, 100%.
100% more, because that's the map that they dominated world-class teams on in Cologne for ESL1 Cologne. And let's face it, all of those teams that they faced in ESL1 on paper are better than Red Reserve. So on paper, this shouldn't really be a matchup. But that's the thing about Counter-Strike. That's the beauty of it. When it all seems over, We can take Red Reserve as an example in this story with
Right.
this game